Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. Man, we've got an action-packed morning briefing for you. We are going to cover a lot, including why we think the bite is about to go crazy on bluefin and white sea bass and so much more. An 8-year-old lands a giant yellowtail on the island Spirit out of Ventura Harbor sport fishing. We've got great fishing up in San Francisco. I'm going to have to mention it. It is so good right now. The boys are starting to see that bluefin in big numbers. Kelp, paddy, yellowtail fishing. Really outstanding right now. You know what time it is. Good morning, my friends. It's time for the Monday morning briefing. A swig of this spiritual coffee. Oh my God, that is so good. Hey, it's great to be with you all. A reminder, hit that like button, share these videos. Just hit the share button and share these videos with a friend. We would really appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't done that. And don't forget, you can follow us on TikTok, Friedman Adventures, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We are there for you 24/7, getting millions of views throughout our history. And it is always a pleasure to be with you all. All right, we've got a lot to cover with you. First of all, happy birthday, 10-year-old Michael Limon and his grandpa Dan Lightfoot. Not both their birthdays. I just want to say hi to Dan. Michael won the essay contest by writing an essay on yellowfin tuna here recently, and I am so proud of you, Michael. Keep up the great work at school, and you'll be rewarded with more and more fishing, and that is the way that all works. All right, I want to mention a guy by the name of Robert Mata who made his dream trip down to Thailand. I spent some time there myself when I was teaching in China. I would travel over that way, and he caught all kinds of crazy stuff. Really a dream trip for him. Alligator gar, barramundis, red-tailed catfish, and arapaimas. Man, what a crazy trip that was. And also Pacific angler sport fishing in San Francisco. All kinds of stripers, all kinds of halibut. It's been fantastic up there. If you're ever thinking about that, now would be the time to do it. And it's been going on for a while. It's like a broken record, as they said on their Facebook post. They just keep killing it up there in that neck of the woods. All right, last night we had a full moon, and we are starting to think that that's what's going on with this bluefin tuna right now, as well as the sea bass. We're getting signals on both of those species right now. It could be this moon phase, and that is the consensus among most of the San Diego boys in San Diego, because now they are seeing that bluefin. It's around, its bite is imminent, it's going to settle and chew. Is it the cool water? I don't think so. It's been biting in that. It has to be moon phase. I think the boys are right down there in San Diego, and it's going to start to bite. The Intrepid had some nice fish in the dark last night. There was a little bit of scratching going on that bluefin tuna, but they are seeing it, and that is, of course, the precursor to getting any kind of a good bite. You've got to see it. And those long-range boys that are hanging out and not catching it right now, they're not hanging out for their health. They don't do that. Those guys are really good fishermen, and they will run as far as it takes to get you fish. So they're hanging out because they think it's moon phase, and it's going to start chewing here real soon. So fingers crossed. It's been slow on the bluefin tunas. We've been telling you, just scratching at it. No daytime bite. A little bit better nighttime bite, but still we're not back to where we need to be. But you get the feeling that light switch could go on at any point in time. And I may have missed a night bite last night. I do my best to cover all the boys, but maybe we started to get a little bit more of a signal. If we did, I'll be back to update you and make sure, keep you on the right track. But if you've got an upcoming trip, I wouldn't be pushing the panic button right now. I would think any day now that could turn on. You need a 25 to 30 pound outfit to fly line a bait with. There's a ton of kelp, paddy, yellowtail. We're going to talk about that in one moment also. And then 50, 60, you're going to throw those Daiwa Sacanas. You can also sink a rig fish with that 50 to 60 pound outfit. Daiwa Sacanas in the 100 to 150 gram range seem to be about best of all. And then also you want a 2-speed reel, and you want to have something in the 80 to 130 pound range for your outfit. There's some big fish wandering around. There's, just a variety in terms of size, from like 20 pounds up to close to 200 and above. So hang on. I really do think it's going to get going here very soon. The Royal Star has been bouncing around trying to find that fish. They went out to the 60 Mile bank and made some drops so they could fill up with rockfish. Man, that makes me jealous. Chuck Zimmer from the Redondo Rod and Gun Club's out there. And look at those bottom grabbers. I love fishing rock cod. I know a lot of you say, man, what's your problem, rock cod? I just love it. And many of my friends do also in the industry. A lot of us are just nuts about it. Maybe it's from my commercial fishing days, fishing Tanner Bank back in the late 70s and 80s, but it's a lot of fun and you can see some nice fish there indeed. All right, kelp paddy fishing. Scott Buchert. You all know Scott. He decks on many of the boats. He's a great source of ours here at Friedman Adventures. And Scott was on board the Grande yesterday, and he said that was a lot of fun. A little bit choppy on the weather, but some pretty darn good fishing. 25 guys came up with 56 on the Yellowtail, and there's some free swimming yellow, Scott said. Not only on the kelps, but fish that are just puddling around. It seems like we're getting a huge influx of yellowtail right now, and that is looking good. Best way, Scott said, by far was a fly line bait. So that 25 to 30 pound outfit. You can fish a number 2 circle hook, you can fish a J hook. Just choose a really good hot bait, and that'll make all the difference in the world for you. Scores range from like the 20s on up to a little bit better than that, quite a bit better than that, 60, 70, 80. Some guys miss, but it comes down to having a little bit of lady luck on your side in these kinds of fishing scenarios, because I'm telling you, man, you got to find the right kelp. And you can find 8 kelps and they're all dry, and you're like, man, what is going on today? Or you can find one and it's loaded and you get the job done on those forkies. So there's a lot of that forkie starting to move in. Most of it's smaller grade, but still a lot of fun. Grade eating, 5 to 10 pound. You get them up to 12. Sometimes you get an occasional fish a little bit bigger than that. And some of those fish are biting on the Daiwa type lures. You can get them on that, but bait seemed to be the best way to do it. Sea Watch, 14 guys, 70 yellowtail for limits. My good friends on the Mission Bell, they had 7 guys out of Point Loma sport fishing, and they had great fishing with limits, 35 yellowtail. Nice hit on the MB as they continue their assault on the local yellowtail. And of course, they're fishing these kelp paddy yellowtail right now, but when that light switch goes on the bluefin tuna, you're gonna need the heavier tackle on these trips. Do not get lulled into a state of complacency and think, they're only catching these small grade yellows. I'm going with my spinning rod and 15 pound. Don't do that. Huge mistake. You're gonna be out there when the light switch goes on. There's gonna be 100+ pound BFTs biting, and you're gonna be sitting there with some light tackle. So vary your tackle. On those full day trips, you probably don't need right now 80 to 130 pound, but I'd bring it if I had it for sure, because you just never know. Another sign of albacore, says my dear friend Tommy Holland. He says, Phil, these Spanish jacks that are being caught, that is another sign that we're gonna have an albacore season this year. We've gone on record again saying we're gonna have albacore. You combine the Spanish jacks with the anchovy, with the cold water, and our theory about Lake Tulare, which was basically dry and now filled up again. We went back and looked at the history of that, and every time Lake Tulare was repopulated, so to speak, with water because of heavy rain, we were either going into the start of an albacore season or it was a boomer albacore season. In other words, we will catch albacore if Lake Tulare theory is correct that we have postulated here at Friedman Adventures. That it's just going to be whether it's decent fishing followed by wide open fishing next year, or it just takes off and really bites. We'll see how that all works out. All right, LA Orange County based boats. Let's talk about that first of all, because those boys are seeing some awfully big yellowtail out at San Clemente Island. In fact, Jeff on the Thunderbird, he had a novice group of anglers, and man, they had some big fish, 18, 25 pound yellows. I think they ended up with 3 forkies, nice fish on the dropper loop, most of that stuff. It was a novice group of anglers, so it's a feat to get 3 on the boat. They also had excellent rock fishing to go along with that. The Blackfish yacht out of Davies Locker, it's 7 halibut and a sea bass, and of course all these guys are able to get on the rockfish and do quite well. The Fury saw yellows all day long, had some rockfish. The Pursuit, 22nd Street Landing, had limits of sheepshead and then scratched away at the rest of the stuff. Those were the kind of scores we have been seeing around town. And of course, there's been an awful lot of flatties, lots of halibut everywhere we look. Private boaters who are fishing local areas have been doing great. Of course, we're still in this grunion run here this evening. I believe it's the last night, and we continue to see fantastic halibut fishing. Cold water, grunion run, just all seems to be right for an albacore thing. But the halibut bite has been spectacular. At the islands here locally, we continue to see really good signal and sign. Just back to the rockfish for one moment and bouncing across the border to Ensenada. Those guys are going to get on that bluefin tuna. They've already been catching a few and some big ones. Mara's sport fishing has had some great catches down there. Blackfin sport fishing, seeing the bluefin loading everybody up on the rockfish. And we can say that from there all the way up to the Channel Islands, which I'm going to get into now because that sea bass bite is looking better and better every single day. Today could be the day when it gets crazy in the Channel Islands. It's really looking good. If you listen to Tucker McCombs and that great interview we did with him when we were out on the Endeavor the other day, having just a dream trip, had so much fun. He says he has seen as much, if not more, white sea bass this year than he has in previous years, and he thinks it's going to be a big year for sure. So good rock fishing just about everywhere we look. Now, we take you up to the Channel Islands, and on the Island Spirit, check it out. This 8-year-old young man, what a feat, what a great fish. Had a lot of help, but man, he did it mostly himself, and I salute you. Love kids doing well in the industry, and I'm sure that kid is doing well in school also. That's his reward, to get out and go fishing. So great stuff on Michael Limone's birthday, a 10-year-old kid who's doing great. And now, what a catch on board the Island Spirit. It seems like fishing's getting better and better and better. On the Island Spirit, they continue to catch whitefish and rockfish on a regular basis. Here's some surface fish for you, that yellow. So we're starting to see more and more of that. And we saw, excuse me, one more sip of this. Thank you. We saw some sea bass signal again yesterday. We continue to see it. Seems like it's trying to get a little more consistent. Aloha Spirit with great rock fishing, but 10 white sea bass. Nice hit on the sea basses. That is really starting to look better and better and better. Also, the Cobra, 5 white sea bass. So that is also a really good sign. 5 sea bass there, and there was more sea bass spread around. It's starting to look like that might settle and bite after this full moon, which we had last night.
When the water kind of started to mellow out after El Nino, the sea bass fishing kind of got really good again up here. I'm seeing just as much fish as I have the last few years. Squirrely, it's moving around a lot, hard to find, but I'm seeing volume when we are seeing it. When it kind of settles in and does its thing, it's going to be really good, and I think just as good or better than, prior seasons.
Dropper loop is perhaps the best way to take these fish. You can be ready with those white flukes. However, in case you don't make squid, those come in very, very handy. And if you end up in the shallows catching them, that orange lead head works really, really well. But almost all the time, as Tucker McComb said on our interview the other day, it's going to be dropper loop fishing. You can hardly beat that. Morro Bay, great rock fishing up there on the Black Pearl. I wanted to mention them because they limited out on reds by 8:15 a.m. KJ was on board that one and had some really great fishing indeed. Surf fishing picking up. There's more and more halibut on these beaches, a little bit more yellowfin croaker, and there's been some good barred perch fishing in this cold water here recently on this gorgeous morning at sunrise. Beautiful Monday morning. All right, the Redondo Rod and Gun Club Surf Fishing Tournament is on the horizon. It's going to be May 20th and 21st. Rada from Big Fish Bait and Tackle said, hey, we had some guys come in here and they're all fired up about signing up. Well, we don't have the sign-up sheets. That's my fault. I'm headed there this morning after 10 a.m. Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, located a mere mile from where I'm standing right now. They're going to have sign-up sheets, information on the tournament, and I apologize to the guys who showed up there looking for that info. So, what can I tell you, man? I mean, there is some really good signal. Back on that bluefin, we're seeing it. There was a time when we couldn't get on it, but we're on it again, and it's getting ready to go off. It's this moon phase. I'm almost sure of that. We'll see how that all plays out as we go along. Channel Island sea bass bite, look out for that. That's looking very good. These LA Orange County based boats are seeing yellows at our islands, Clemente and elsewhere. really looks good, and there's been some good halibut and sea bass taken. Things are looking good. However, it's been slow on the bluefin tuna. So while I am eternally optimistic, it's been a little bit slow. We're hoping it's going to change here very, very soon. All right, can't thank you enough. You guys are the best. We are getting so many views, so much traffic, thousands of you coming to the channel every single day, and I deeply appreciate all your support. Remember to like, share, subscribe. That makes a huge difference to us. I'll be keeping my eye on things, releasing some great shorts here today. We'll have some more of that. And of course, I hope to see you really, really soon. Have a great Monday morning, my friends. One more swig just for you. Oh, and running next, stay tuned. We've got the highlights from our great trip on board the Endeavor. You're going to enjoy that. Take care, my friends. This Friedman Adventures trip on board the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. It was May the 4th, 2023, and man, we assembled a great group of people, and we all became much closer friends. So let me give you a little rundown on the trip as we decided, first of all, focus on catching white sea bass. The day before, Tucker McCombs, whom you see there, doing such hard work trying to locate white sea bass. The day before, he had limits of white sea bass, so of course we were sky high. And Tucker worked his fingers to the bone. He was looking at every part of the island trying to find sea bass, but we never came across that nugget. Even though we had enough squid to make it happen, we decided we're going to have to start fishing for other species, like this jackpot sheep's head for Joe Martinez, JD with a huge whitefish, and Scott Grant with some beautiful rockfish, and all the other anglers on board having just a wonderful time. We were able to provide really great table fare for everybody on board. I can't say enough about the crew on the Endeavor. I can't say enough about the office personnel at Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. Sal up there in the office, Daniel on deck. It was really something else. Joseph in the galley, and of course Tucker McCombs, who oversees it all, provided great fishing action, great customer service, and a trip that none of us will ever forget. And we did come a lot closer as a group. That's the one thing about the Friedman Adventures family that I want to emphasize to each and every one of you. We're looking for groups who want to work together, who want to fish together, who want to have fun together, and are there to help one another. And we certainly found it on this day. Really fun fishing. Sure, we hoped that we were going to find the white sea bass, but we found plenty of great friendships and plenty of rockfish and had an absolutely phenomenal time. Can't thank the Endeavor crew enough. Can't thank Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing enough. And a reminder to you all that they have local boats up there. The old Matt Walsh is the California. They run half-day trips. Kids fish free on Sunday. And then, of course, there's the Island Spirit fishing full day. And there's also the Pacific Eagle and the Pacific Dawn for more overnight opportunities. Hope you can take advantage of it really soon. And my thanks to all the great folks who showed up for this exceptional trip. I can't wait to do it again really, really soon. And of course, all my thanks to Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, Tucker McCombs, the great crew on the Endeavor, everybody up there in the ticket office that make that place so special. All right, take care, my friends. Don't forget, if you'd like to get on a charter with Friedman Adventures, just send me a text, 657-227-6459, and I will send you the current list. Take care, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. www.venturasportfishing.com or 805-676-3474 to reach Ventura Sport Fishing. Take care, my friends.